Oh, just there's been a couple people that have competed where they finished close to the bottom and then won a competition. That's really rewarding to see, helping them and encouraging them not to quit. The reward is just in me teaching a lot, getting people to just cook, just try this, and if you don't succeed, keep at it and perfecting it. It doesn't happen overnight with anything if you want to be good at it.
Listen, learn, get inspired. I'm Tavis Bryant, and this is Barbecue Therapy. Like, subscribe, and follow to help grow the barbecue therapy community. Also, visit my website at www.barbecuetherapypodcast.com.
Bring 'em down, barbecue, your barbecue on. Get your barbecue on. Get your barbecue on.
Welcome to the Barbecue Therapy Podcast. My name is Tavis Bryant. Welcome back to another episode, the show where we break down stories, passions, and journeys behind the people who make our world taste better. From pitmasters to grill warriors to people building entirely new lanes in competitive cooking. Today, we're stepping away from the smoke just a little and into the oven. We're talking pizza, not just any pizza. We're talking competitive pizza. And joining me today is someone who has food running through their veins, restaurant owner, caterer, international airline catering manager, certified barbecue and steak judge, food columnist, and now founder of the Pizza Cookoff Association, Mr. Jerry Belcastro. This is a story about passion, reinvention, competition, and taking a leap when your guts tell you it's time. Jerry, welcome to the show. I got one rule: make yourself at home and speak freely.
Sir, thanks for having me.
All right, no problem. And as I usually do, I usually start from the beginning. Could you tell us a little bit about where you're from and your childhood growing up, as far as how was the food scene between you growing up as a young person as well as into your teens?
Okay. So, yeah, I was born right outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. My father's side of the family is Italian and big family. He had 10 brothers and sisters. Seven of them lived close to us, as well as my grandmother. And my grandmother and she's the rock of the, and my grandfather, rock of the family. My grandfather was actually born in Italy. My grandmother was born in the U.S. We had the fortunate situation before we moved to Georgia, we lived with my grandparents for 6 months. My dad came down and was trying to get some things established before we moved. And that really is where I got my passion for food and seeing my grandmother cook and everything that she did. And it was right before Christmas time. And that's the big time of the year when she starts like a week ahead of time and starts all that prep stuff for getting ready for Christmas. And then moving down here, went to high school and college, and coming out of college, really, I was leaning towards an engineering degree in solar energy. And I was at West Georgia, which is about an hour, a little over an hour away. So I used to commute on the weekends, and we got to talking with the family. I have two sisters, and about potentially opening up a little pizza sub spot here in McDonough, Georgia, is where I live. And at that time, you had to go 20 miles one way or 20 miles the other to get a pizza. So we ended up, my dad went and co-signed a loan for us. And one of my older sister, she got right on with the post office. So my younger sister was coming out of high school, and we decided to open up a little pizza and sub shop. And that's where it all started for me.
Oh, wow. What year did you get to Georgia?
1973. So that
Oh, wow.
I've been here a long time.
Yeah,
Converted Southern.
I just recently moved from the Hampton Lovejoy area, and now when I got married, I moved to Stone Mountain, so I'm not that far. But wow, you must have seen the early ages of McDonough and
Oh, yeah.
stuff.
Yep,
Now
yep.
it's just congested all the time down there.
Oh, very.
All right. You've worn so many hats in the culinary world. What was the moment when you realized that food wasn't just your career, but it was part of your identity?
I would say When I finally made it to the catering department at Delta Airlines, I had a restaurant I worked before I got on with Delta. I worked it for about 10 years and still continued to cater after that, just personally, and still helping my sister out. But then when I finally reached the catering department, there was just so many different jobs within catering. But once I got the job of regional manager, international catering, that's when I really knew, because I started traveling the world, going to other catering facilities that Delta flew into, would help establish new routes or new catering opportunities for us. And that's when I really knew that the food runs through my veins.
Okay. Wow. So how long did you do that?
I was in that job capacity for almost 5 years.
Okay.
I was in the catering department for about 15 years.
Oh, wow. That's a long time. How did you run into the competition world as far as barbecue and steak competition?
Yeah, after I took an early retirement from Delta, I fell into a position with Henry County, and a gentleman that worked for me with the county was talking about his son competing in a barbecue contest down in Barnesville. And I said, I didn't know there was such a thing. And then we talked about it. And I knew at that point in time I couldn't really compete, but I was looking into it, and I saw the judging aspect of it, and I said, that's something I can do right now. I actually looked online, saw when the next class was, told my wife about it. She wasn't really thrilled, but she went down there with me. She didn't sign up for the class. And I went into the class, and they actually took an early break, and I came out to get her to actually come inside. And Greg Hoyt actually come out there with me and made her come inside. And really, that's all she wrote for her. She absolutely loves it. I know you probably talked to her. And she loves the barbecue world.
Yeah. The community, that's where it gets you. The community draws you in. So people talk about winning contests draw you in. It's the community also that draws you in. Once you meet the people and see how friendly they are, you shocked, like, why are these people so friendly?
It is like family.
And right now, you were training to do something else, a rep or something? You and your
Yes, last year the GBA asked us if we were interested in being reps for them, and we agreed to that. And we spent all of 2025 being reps in training. So basically, what you do is you go through basically a whole year and attend what reps you can or what events you can, and then at the end of the year they had a board meeting and they proposed to vote us in as permanent reps, and they did. So we are this year we'll be reps for the GBA, and very excited about that.
Okay. And do you still judge for the Memphis in May and the state cook-off?
Yes. So as the barbecue world stops in late May for a few months, mid-year where it's too hot to have anything, and Memphis in May is actually in the middle of May when there's really nothing going on with the GBA. So we've attended that the last two or 3 years, but it's like the Super Bowl of barbecue. We got to meet some really celebrity pitmasters, if you could, so to speak. Mo Cason, Tuffy Stone. We actually have already met Myron a few times, but continue to build that relationship with Myron and Michael, several others, Henry Wu, and the list goes on. So they're the best of the best, and it's really, if you've never been, you got to put it on your bucket list. It's really worth going to.
Yeah, I went to 2023, and then I went this year, which was last year. There, I usually take my wife, and we just go up there and just spend the weekend. Last year, we went to Smoke Slam on Friday and Memphis in May on Saturday, and just go meet people and hang around.
Oh, that's the best.
Because they're
It really
friendly. We've been in several people's tent and just hung out. Man,
Yeah.
that's how I met so
They
many
welcome
people.
you in like you've known them for years.
Feed
It's
you.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So I look forward to it every year and just meeting more folks and meeting the folks I've already met and just enjoy ourselves. So the state cook-off between those three associations, what are the big differences as far as judging?
Steak, they judge. It's not comparative judging. You judge those steaks as they come through the door, one by one, instead of putting everything on a table and judging against what's on that table. That's the biggest difference. The consistency of those cooks is amazing. I would say, of all the competitions that we've judged for steak, 98% of them are just off the hook. Maybe different taste profiles, but they elevate those steaks beyond what you can get in any steakhouse because they're counting on that one bite to just like barbecue. They pack that punch in there. And what's cool about their event when they have the awards, they go up there and they tell what grill they cooked on and what all the ingredients they used on their steak. And that's pretty cool just to hear all those different rubs and injections and such.
Okay, okay, that sounds good. All right, let's switch over to the your invention. So you're judging SCA, GBA, and walk us through the moment where the idea came for the Pizza Cookoff Association. How did you come up with the idea?
Okay, so we started judging GBA probably maybe 6 months before COVID came in. I think we judged 4 events before COVID hit. And being the foodies that we are, we watch a lot of the food channels. And and I mentioned it to my wife before that a little bit about what do you think about pizza? And she shrugged her shoulders. And one night we were watching The Foods That Built America, and the episode was how Domino's and Pizza Hut got their starts. And it was actually two brothers from each company that they were going through all those trials and tribulations getting those off the ground. And it really hit home with me because when my sister and I opened our spot here in McDonough, we had a monopoly for 5 years before Pizza and Domino's came along.
Oh wow.
And so that episode really hit home with me. And after I watched that, I said, you know what, I'm going to do this. So I started my due diligence on looking up different competitions to see if there was anything on a weekly basis. The state cook-off, I give them a lot of credit, and I've told Brett this before that they inspired me to do this as well because that competition's done in one day as opposed to a barbecue cook-off. Those guys get there on a Thursday or Friday, set up shop, cook overnight, and by the awards time and time to go home, man, they're exhausted. So in a state competition, you show up at 8 o'clock and you're done by 4. Not to say that, the grills you have can be the size of a little on a table. So it's not near as exhausting. So that sort of motivated me. And when I done my due diligence, the only competition that's actually done was they have a pizza expo out in Vegas every year. And I've gone the last 3 years. Last year they had 625 people competing
Wow.
over a 3 day period. I know the guy that heads up the judging, he actually reached out to me when he found out what I had going on because believe it or not, they never had any actual guidelines on judging. They purely went off and the judges out there are fantastic. They're very knowledgeable. They pick people that's been in the industry for a while, but they were just going off their experience and everything. But now they have a formal guidelines and a sheet that they give them some guidance on how to judge. And Scott got that for me. And then funny story about that. When I talked to him and we were talking about how I got started, and I told him the story that I just told you, he said, I was in that episode of Domino's and Pizza Hut. So I was really surprised by that. I had to go back and watch that. And sure enough, was in that episode. And I'm talking about Scott Wiener. He lives in New York, and he does Scott's Pizza Tours
Mhm.
in New York City. So if you're ever up there, I haven't done his tours, but they're really phenomenal. What he does, he takes a little bus and takes people around the city to different pizza places, but he teaches you the history of how pizza originated in New York. And of course, they stop off at 2 or 3 places and have a couple slices.
Yeah, to bring it back real quick, but that show, The Food That Changed America, if y'all haven't seen it, y'all definitely need to watch it because it's amazing. And they show the origins of several different foods. And I love that stuff because it shows the history of how things got started. Everything didn't just start
It is.
easily and smooth. And
Yeah,
they
you're
talk
right.
about Colonel
I mean,
Sanders
those are the
shot
people that
somebody.
built, those are the people that started, and other people just took that idea and made it their own. But yeah, how
Mhm.
them big chains got off the bat is really something to watch. We watch a
Exactly.
lot of those.
Yeah, I love it. They show how the candy bar companies was fighting and Colonel
Cereal.
Sanders and yeah,
Yeah.
Kellogg's and Post and I was like, this is awesome. And they fought so hard. Coca-Cola, everything is just it's
Yeah.
a very good show. All right.
Yeah.
Listen, I wanted to ask you, how important has your wife been to this journey? Because every great food story seems to start with a supportive spouse standing behind your dream. So how
You
does she
got that exactly right. She's my left and right hand. I'm going to put it that way. I couldn't do any of this without her. When we have a competition, she actually, I get everything unloaded and where we're having that event. And then she sets everything up as far as the judging. She, when everybody registers to judge and registers to cook, she takes the judges and assigns them their duties. And then when I have all my different classes, I have a judges class that I take. I do most of them here at home. I have taken that show on the road. Recently, this past weekend, we went down to the Jimmy Jam right outside of St. Augustine, and they asked us to come down there and do a competition, and that was awesome. I had a judges class down there and had 12 people in that class. And it's a little challenging when I have that many because I usually have them here at my house. I have six. I do them in multiples of six for a reason because we have six slices on our pizza. And I'll get into how we judge here in a minute, but I couldn't do without her. She's so supportive of everything I do. And then in turn, when she wants to go to Memphis in May or whatever event she wants to go to, I try to everything I can do to make that happen for her.
Definitely, definitely. All right, for someone hearing about the Pizza Cookoff Association for the very first time, what is the Pizza Cookoff Association and what's the mission?
The mission is to have fun. If you've ever made pizza, just for instance, like me, if you owned a restaurant, you slung pizzas back in the day, and you're not a professional by any means, but this is designed, I designed it and took different facets from different associations to make it what it is. But I try to simplify it as much as I could because I don't want it to get complicated in the fact that you lose to having fun about it. So the judging aspect of it, I try to make that as simple as I can. And my classes are designed very small groups of six because I spent time with everybody one on one just to make sure they really grasp the understanding of what I want to do and how I want to judge.
Mhm.
So in a nutshell, I make the rules simple. If you got any kind of pizza skills, throw your hat in a ring. It's not professionals competing. It's the everyday guy, backyard guy. And that's what I'm after.
Oh yeah, I know you. Let me see. The last one, I didn't get the leftovers, but at Griffin, I judged Griffin, but I came in too late. We did have one at Griffin.
Yep.
All right. How is the judging as far as the competition?
Okay. So what we do, we tell the cooks that their pizza has to be 12 inches round or
Hmm.
12 inches square. We have I got some great sponsors. One of my sponsors is called Portion Paddle. He designs a paddle with grooves in it. So it gives us outer dimensions of 12 inches, as well as grooves to cut that pizza into 6 perfect slices. So we use that tool. We tell the cooks that we want it turned in uncut. So it'll come in, we'll assign it a random number. It goes straight to the judge's table, just like steak. And we judge one at a time on the first round. So they get 45 minutes on that the preliminary round to turn in a pizza. So the one difference I tell them, look, I said, don't treat this like steak or don't treat this like barbecue and wait to the very last minute. You have 45 minutes to cook one perfect pizza. When you get a good one, turn it in because it doesn't sit around. It goes straight to the judge's table and gets judged. So when they do turn it in, it'll go to the judge's table. They'll record the number of that pizza, and then it'll get transferred to that paddle, and we'll judge for appearance before it gets cut. And then once they have that score down, the table captain will cut the pizza. There's actually 5 judges, and the table captain facilitates, but he does not judge. And I do that for 2 reasons. One being that when we slice that pizza and divvy it out, when it comes to that last judge, there's 2 slices left, and he gets a choice between those last 2. And then that last slice will stay on that portion paddle while they judge that pizza, so they have it back to reference while they're judging. And so once that's completed and we tally all the scores for that preliminary round, we do the top 3 or top 5. We'll make the finals, and we'll go out to everybody and announce who made the finals. And from that point, I give them 30 minutes to go back out, to get their ovens back up to temp, get prepped, and get ready. When that 30 minutes expires, they have a 10-minute window to turn in for the finals. So we'll get 5 pizzas turned in within 10 minutes, and then we do comparative judging like GBA, where we'll put all those 5 pizzas on one table and then get judged against each other. For the first round, we do four criteria: appearance, a category I call construction on how it's made.
Mm-hmm.
Then we judge the crust on its own, and then, of course, the taste. In the finals, we do those same 4 criteria, and then we add the overall impression score, that you're aware of that. We do that in the same manner as GBA, where we assign the decimal point where it doesn't end in a tie.
Okay, sounds good. And what kind of ovens or cookers are allowed? Can someone bring pellet grill, gas, portable, pizza ovens? How they?
Yeah, I allow anything to cook a pizza on is permissible. The only thing even if, say, you bring a pellet pizza oven and something goes wrong, you're able to use someone else's pizza oven to cook your pizza as long as they don't cook it for you. I know GBA does not allow to use someone else's grill. But my point or my goal, I think, is, and when I told you I was keeping it simple, I also want to get as many people involved as I can. So I stretch the rules. That's nothing that I don't allow that's not outside the playing field, but it just gives everybody an opportunity. Oh, I don't have a pizza oven. You could use your grill and put a pizza stone on there. You could use anything. You could bring an electric grill as long as you have a generator. We can't always guarantee electricity, but there's so many different pizza ovens on the market now. And then if you own a grill, just adapt, and they make adaptations for different Green Mountain. Several of them have attachments for pizza, or just put a stone on there. So I leave that wide open. When we go to cook that pizza, I give them a choice to cook whatever they want. Hopefully one day we'll get big enough to where we could specify a certain style of pizza everybody has to cook, or a certain ingredient. And that's what's fun about this, is it's not the same thing every time. Nothing against steak, nothing against barbecue. I love both of them, but it's the same meats every time. We could change it up on pizza. So as long as those judges are flexible on their taste, and there's probably going to be an ingredient somewhere along the line they don't like, but we just tell them you can't take off because you don't like an ingredient. You just got to either take that ingredient off or eat around it when you're judging. So,
Okay, okay. And I like how you do it as far as they can use someone else's grill, because if they're not able to, it may discourage them from trying it again. So by doing that, it gives them a little leeway and still don't hurt their confidence that they are disqualified. So I like how you
yeah,
do that. It's like you said, as long as somebody doesn't cook it for them, I think it's fine. It's not hurting anything.
no, we want them to turn something in, what, regardless of the fact, and complete the cook. And that's really important to the cooks, I think. I allow that. And that's actually happened a couple times. So,
Yeah, because some stuff happen out of people's control, so there's nothing they could do about it. As far as ancillaries, you have ancillaries in your competitions also?
okay, so a lot of times we are the ancillary when I coordinate and in conjunction with a GBA event Friday night. We're pretty much doing a lot of those events on Friday. We're the ancillary, but we've had a few contests where it's a standalone competition, and the ancillaries are for us are all Italian.
Mhm.
So that's something I try to do to make us different than other associations. The promoter gets to choose the whatever category they want us to cook or want them to cook. And it's from, we could do a pasta, we do a risotto, we could do a calzone, sub, we do an appetizer as long as it's Italian, desserts as long as it's Italian. So it's different and a little challenging for some folks, but it's been fun. As a judge, we love the ancillaries. It's just something different to judge and to eat.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I made it one year for the dessert one at Griffin, boy. I was woo. All right. Since you're a professional, what separates a good competition pizza from a winning one without giving away secrets? What impresses the judges the most?
I think appearance, we all eat with our eyes. As I mentioned, those pizzas have to be 12 inches round or 12 inches square.
Hmm.
In the steak and barbecue world, the appearance scores just always 98% of the time a given 10. In the pizza world, appearance isn't a given 10. The hardest part of cooking one of our competitions is launching that pizza to keep it 12 inches round or 12 inches square. So what our judges really look for, that appearance is a lot, not overdoing the ingredients, keeping it relatively simple,
Hmm.
but going outside the box and not doing typical ingredients. It goes a long way. Now in Griffin last year, one of our cooks turned in a Chicago style pizza, and that pizza was perfect. She didn't get a perfect score, but she should have. When, Chicago being a deep dish, when I went to cut it, I was expecting it to ooze out on both sides, but that slice stood perfect. The judges all loved it, and she won that competition with that pizza. So something that really is different, but relatively simple, and when you try not to overdo things.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. That sounds good. So if someone wants to join the Pizza Cookoff Association, whether it's a cook, judge, promoter, what's the process?
It starts on my website, and I get all these spam emails. Hey, we're looking at your website. It's not number one when you Google it. It is number one when you Google it. I'm the only Pizza Cook-Off Association that exists that I know of. So you go on my website and just navigate it at the top. If you want to join, there's a membership where you could join either individually or as a couple. Then as a judge, I have judges classes throughout the year. I haven't planned my next one, but I imagine it's going to be mid-February, early March. We have scheduled the Dilly Dally. We're going to be cooking pizza for that in the last week in February 27th.
Mm.
And then we're also going to be for the 4th annual event at the Fire Ant Festival, and that's March 27th on a Friday. So I'm going to have probably going to have a judges class somewhere in that time frame. I also have classes on teaching people how to cook pizza. So if they wanted to compete and had some skills, that class I give everybody everything that I know, similar to what Robbie Royal does when he teaches his barbecue class. He teaches everybody everything from A to Z. I do the same thing in my class. I want people to succeed. I'll give them my dough recipe. I'll give them my sauce recipe, and all the little tricks to the trade on competing to cook in the pizza competitions.
Okay, and that's on the website too.
Yeah, so it all starts with the website, like I mentioned. A newsletter will pop up on there. Sign up for that newsletter. I encourage everybody to do that because in my newsletter is where I announce all my classes.
Okay.
I just happened to post a newsletter today recapping this past weekend for our judges and our winners down there at the Jimmy Jam. I also announced the Dilly Dally event and Fire Ant Festival. And we also have been asked to do an event at the Hog Drop this coming year for Michael Mixon and Myron down there in Unadilla. It's their 10th annual event, and they're going to get a lot of sanctioning bodies down there for their 10-year, and we're going to do pizza down there. So excited about that one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm going to sign up for your newsletter because I definitely want to learn how to make pizzas because we have enough frozen pizzas in this house. So I got to start making our own.
I'll teach you everything.
Okay, I definitely look forward to that. I didn't know that, but now I do. All right. So what's your vision for the Pizza Cookoff Association in the next 2 to 5 years?
Being retired, it's a passion of mine. I really am not concerned about how much it grows. I just take each year and just do the best I can. I love to talk to people at different events. And if we can make it work at a festival or an event, we'll give it a shot. I'm willing to work with promoters and give them as much of a discount as I can the first time, just to get our foot in the door and show, what this is all about and get people interested. So I'm not really too worried about growth. I'm just not worried about, but I'm eager to teach people and just make them aware of how fun it is to be a part of this. And my plans this year, the 3 events that I mentioned, but I plan to pair up with a couple beer festivals. Peachtree City has a beer festival in April, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be a part of that. Get into what goes better with pizza than beer. I'm working on with some different promoters on having a couple events at some beer festivals. I hope to go back to New York. I went up there not this past year, but in 24, and had an event in Westchester County. We actually had to turn away cooks up there, which is pretty much the opposite. The South is barbecue country. The North is pizza. There's pizza, and you rarely can find a Domino's or a Pizza Hut up there. It's all mom and pop places on every other street corners, different pizza places. We couldn't make it happen last year due to some unfortunate things that happened with the guy that I know up there, and we look to get back up in New York. I have some ties that I'm working with in Chicago with Weber Grills reached out to me. They want me to conduct a class for their team. So I'm hopefully going to try to get something started in Chicago to have 1 or 2 events there per year. That's my main goals for the next couple of years, to go to the pizza cities and have, even if it's just 1 or 2 events there per year. And then, of course, continue to grow in Georgia and partner with the GBA, and do some events with them.
Okay. So as you look back, what's been the most rewarding part so far, the moment where you said, yeah, this was worth it?
Oh, there's been a couple people that have competed where they finished close to the bottom, and then won a competition. That's really rewarding to see, helping them and encouraging them not to quit. It's just, the reward is just in me teaching a lot, getting people to just cook, just try this, and if you don't succeed, keep at it and perfecting it. It doesn't happen overnight with anything if you want to be good at it. And I pride myself on, I'll answer all my emails that come in. Anybody that wants to learn, anybody that has questions, I'm always, if I don't get back to you that same day, I'll definitely get back to you the next time I have a chance. Sometimes we travel for events, but yeah, that's the most rewarding thing, is just teaching other people.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. So I'm gonna ask one more question, and then I'll play a quick game with you and get you out of here. So I'm pretty sure you tasted a lot of pizza. So what has been the best slice you've tasted? Where was it from, or who cooked it?
That's pretty much an easy one. Where I grew up, there's a pizza place called Police Station Pizza. They're actually located right next to the police station, so they adapted the name. And they make a Sicilian style pizza there. It's not like the Sicilian style pizzas you get in New York, where they're about 1.5 to 2 inches thick. This pizza is about an inch thick, and it's crispy on the bottom and light in the middle. You take that bite and you get that crunch.
Mm-hmm.
And the toppings and the cheese, it's simple. It's usually just pepperoni and mushroom, but the sauce is so, you get that great taste of the sauce, the cheese, and then that dough is what makes everything. Every pizza starts with a dough, and I always tell people when they're cooking a competition, elevate your ingredients. That's what's going to set you apart. But that pizza right there, still when I go home, that's the first place I go, and I don't even make it out of the parking lot before I'm eating that pizza.
Sounds good. All right, I got one quick game I'm gonna play with you before I get you out of here. I usually do barbecue meats, but college basketball, they have a tournament bracket where they play a tournament. So I did the top 16 pizza toppings, and I did them in a tournament bracket, and I'm gonna read off each matchup and tell me which one you prefer to have on a pizza. So right now you're starting with a cheese, meat and sauce, and the dough and the cheese. So first matchup is ham versus green bell peppers. Which one you prefer?
Ham.
All right. Next one is pepperoni versus anchovies.
Pepperoni.
Okay. Next matchup is chicken versus sun-dried tomato.
I'm going to have to go with the chicken.
Okay. Black olives versus sausage.
Sausage.
Okay. Next matchup is bacon versus spinach.
Bacon.
Okay. Next one is jalapeno versus pineapple.
There's a lot of Italians that just detest pineapple, even thought of going on a pizza. I have a great combination with pineapple, but by itself, I'm going to have to go with the jalapeno.
Okay. Next matchup is meatball versus salami.
Oh boy, another hard one. I like them both. I make a mean meatball, so I'm gonna have to go with meatball.
Okay. All right. Next one is mushroom versus onions.
Mushroom.
Okay. All right. Next round is ham versus pepperoni.
Pepperoni.
All right. Next matchup is chicken versus sausage.
Sausage.
All right. Next matchup is bacon versus jalapenos.
Bacon.
Okay. Next matchup is the meatball versus the mushrooms.
Meatball.
All right. Final four. All right. You got pepperoni versus sausage.
Man, when you get a nice cup spicy pepperoni, I'm gonna go with pepperoni.
And next matchup is bacon versus meatball.
There again, I'm gonna stick with my meatball.
All right. And the final, you got pepperoni versus meatball.
Even though my meatball is pretty special, I have to go with the pepperoni.
All right. That's a classic ingredient. I love pepperoni. All right. And Jerry, your therapy session is over. If you want to promote anything or shout out, you can definitely do that at this time.
Oh, just got some wonderful sponsors, Alpha Ovens and Urban Slicer, Baking Steel, Mike's Hot Honey, Carolina Cookwood, Caputo Flour, and Portion Paddle. They've all been very gracious to me, and I'm very appreciative of them. And I'll always try to give my judges a little bit of kudos, and I thank them anytime I can because, man, we can't have any competitions without the judges. So appreciate them.
Okay, definitely. And your website is www.pizzacookoffassociation.com, correct?
Correct.
All
Yep.
right. Y'all definitely check it out. It's very exciting and new, and you'll be home in one day. All right. We thank everybody, and thank you for coming on the show and giving your story and sharing your time. I definitely appreciate it.
Thanks, Tavis. I appreciate you having me, man.
All right, no problem. And on that note, we'll see everybody next episode. I built something onto my podcast that every barbecue brand should be a part of. It's called the BBQ Therapy Smoke Showdown Bracket. 16 meats you cook on the grill go head to head, and every guest picks their winner. It's one of the most engaging parts of the show. Every guest plays, and every listener loves it because no two brackets are the same. Now I'm opening it up for a presenting sponsor, meaning your brand becomes part of the segment every single show. This isn't just an ad, this becomes part of the show. And if you're interested, reach out to Tavis Bryant at barbecutherapypodcast@gmail.com. Thank you. Thank you for joining us for another therapy session. And remember, like, follow, and subscribe to help the barbecue therapy community. And also visit our website at www.barbecutherapypodcast.com.